Most Americans have never thought about Venezuela in any sort of way. They don't know basic facts about the place, and unfortunately, that includes the President of the United States. So let me hopefully explain to you why it is such an insane idea to try to overthrow their government, whether by a decapitation strike or trying to actually invade Venezuela through the simple use of maps. Venezuela is a country in northern South America. It is a country of 28 million people with an additional 8 million people living as refugees from the Venezuela crisis in the nearby countries. And this projection doesn't really help you understand how big Venezuela is because all of these countries are very big, but Venezuela is 2.1 times as big as Iraq and 1.4 times as big as Afghanistan and 1.5 times as big as Ukraine. So the pure size of the place is a big problem in itself. It's like putting Iraq and Afghanistan together, basically. But it gets much worse once we look at the topography or the physical terrain of Venezuela. Now, when we look at a satellite view, two things become very apparent. There is a lot of jungle in Venezuela's south, and more importantly, there are a lot of mountains. And if we zoom into the capital, we see a big problem very quickly. This right here is a big old mountain. That right there is another big old mountain. The only way to get from the coast and the airport and port that are there to Caracas is down one mountain highway that you will have to precariously move across. Okay, so we choose to land somewhere else. Well, to the west we have a whole lot of jungle, and to our east we have a whole lot more mountains. Okay, let's say then we just parachute people in. All right, now you've just cut off a bunch of dudes into the main capital city, and you are stuck on the other side of a mountain range. And the fun doesn't really end from the trek from the beach through the mountains to Caracas, as Caracas is completely surrounded by mountains. Okay, let's say we want to enter in the far western part of the country near Maracaibo, another area that would be easy to set up a port. Well, guess what? It's stuck in between a bunch more mountains, and then you have to move through hundreds and hundreds of kilometers of either jungle or mountains to get to Caracas. All right, let's say we want to do it in the east. We have the exact same problem. Want more jungle or you want more mountains? You just can't get around the sheer geography of this country. And importantly, unlike Iraq and Afghanistan, there were not tropical diseases there that they had to worry about. But in Venezuela, oh, you boys will not be doing good in the anti-vax Trump administration dealing with tropical disease. And this rough terrain makes it really easy to set up your resistance movement with a couple hundred or a few thousand people with guns to go against whatever occupation or puppet regime is set up. And something the Trump administration seems to just not grapple with is that the Venezuelan people do want to get rid of Maduro, but they do not want a US puppet government set up, one that would be created in the mold of Donald Trump. And if this actually goes down, you have to understand, on the best of days, with the most competent people planning for months and months and months, and naval invasion is one of the most difficult things you can accomplish. It's almost as difficult as attempting to do a huge aerial drop of soldiers in a conflict. Both of those things can blow up in their faces and result in the deaths of many, many, many people, civilians and soldiers on both sides. And this is the dangerous situation that the United States is hurtling towards.